So after being silently delayed by almost a year, the Knuckles series finally came out. It came out on Saturday in the UK, not Friday like the US. So I actually had to avoid spoilers for one day, which wasn't too bad. I actually watched it all in one day. And yeah, it was definitely a show. Seen a lot of split opinions on it. Some people saying it's actually one of the better shows, and some other people saying it's actually one of the lesser good ones. Some people actually saying it's the worst show ever they've seen. And for me, well, it was definitely a show, and I just kind of want to give my thoughts on it. This is not going to be a long breakdown of each episode. I'm just going to give my general thoughts on the show as a whole. Now, I first want to preface this by saying this, that the first 3 episodes were actually pretty good. As for the last 3 episodes, well, we'll get to that. In episode 1, I actually liked the beginning. I think the CGI was actually pretty good. I think it was actually on par with the movies. I also liked how we got the fight in the bowling alley late in the episode, so there was literally no time wasted. In episode 2, I actually quite liked as well. I love the ice cap reference in the bar where they took Knuckles to. And not gonna lie, I actually thought Wade was kind of funny in this episode when he was daydreaming about how he was going to save Knuckles. Episode 3 was also quite fun. Never before did I think in the future there would be an episode in a Sonic show where Knuckles is being seen as potentially Jewish by a human mother. I swear. Playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, never would I have predicted something like that would have happened. And now for the back half of the show. Episode 4 was a weird one. This is the one I think people seem to complain about, and I can kind of see why. Which is annoying because this is the episode I was actually kind of excited for the most because of the title. It's called The Flames of Disaster, and if you're a Sonic fan, you'll know what that's a reference to. In it, Knuckles just basically isn't in that episode, and Wade gets kidnapped. Because of Wade being kidnapped and Knuckles just deciding not to go save him, he's just not in the episode. And there's like a daydream sequence where like apparently it's like the afterlife, and you see like this lava like creature, which I don't know, but I think that was supposed to be Iblis, because it kind of looked like him, but I wasn't sure. They don't say it by name, but then the episode's called Flames of Disasters. I'm like, does Iblis exist in this universe? I mean, he probably does, but like, why was he like, that's such a weird reference, but whatever. Anyway, the point is I didn't really like this episode that much because again, Knuckles is barely in it. Episode 5 kind of has some similar problem. Like, Wade goes to meet his father, and I mean, it's cool and all, but like, yeah, this is when the problems of the show really start to show themselves. I'll be honest, the human characters in this show are really, really weak. Like, almost like, I know it's like for kids, but like, I think it's almost too kiddie at one point. Because I think the whole thing with Wade and his dad, I thought was a bit silly, like too silly. And I know it's Sonic, but like, this is the same franchise with the gun plot, you know. And again, Knuckles is pretty much not in this episode. In episode 6, Knuckles is in this episode a bit more because he has the fight at the end, but aside from that, we don't even get to see most of the villains again. Like, most of the show was about Wade. It is true people say when they say this is the Wade and Knuckles show. Like, some people are saying this is the Wade show and Knuckles cameos in it, which is kind of funny, but it's a bit disappointing because you can't have, like, imagine having your own show and you're not even the person that appears the most in it. It's just a bit silly. Obviously, they're not going to call it the Wade show, but it would have been nice to just, you know, have more. I mean, at this point, like, because Knuckles is barely in it, it might as well have just been like, it might as well have been the Wade show and then just have the other characters in it. And yeah, as you'd guess, yeah, no other characters appeared in it. There was no Rouge, no Chaotix like I predicted. I didn't think there was going to be any of them, but it would have been nice, maybe like a hint at them, but it's just, I wasn't really expecting it, I won't lie. But I was kind of holding out hope. Because again, in the first Sonic movie, I was not expecting a post-credit scene at the end. Especially wasn't expecting to see Tails. So I was kind of holding out hope. Because there is a post-credit scene at the end of the show, but it's kind of a nonsensical one. It's annoying because, like, they said they wanted to follow in Marvel's footsteps. But then they kind of have more than you'd like. But they made a mid-series. Which I won't lie, yes. If you haven't realized by now, I do think the series is low-key a little bit mid. I don't think it's horrible. But, like, as a Sonic fan, I enjoyed it. At least the first half quite a lot. But that's the thing, as a Sonic fan. Let's say I wasn't someone who was into Sonic that much. Like, would I even enjoy this show? I don't know. I do want to point out though, in episode 6, I think they do reference Shadow though. They say something happened in 1974 where another extraterrestrial showed up. If you take the year 2024 and minus 50 years, that's 1974. Yeah, anyway, enough about that. Overall, I think the show was, I don't think it was a failure, and I don't think it was a horrible show. I think the claims that people say where it's the worst thing they've ever seen, I think that's a bit harsh, but it definitely wasn't a great show. I've seen some people say, like, some people are giving it like 9s, like 8s, 9s out of 10. Let's be real here. Like, I'm not going to overrate a show. I don't think any Sonic show should deserve that kind of rating. I mean, I liked it. I think if you're a Sonic fan, like, it's a good show to watch like once. If you're not, you could watch it, but it's not like an essential watch. I don't think there's anything you need to watch in this to understand in movie 3 if you're excited for movie 3. If you've got nothing else to watch, just put it on. It's not even a bad show. It's not like a horrible watch. Like, you'll be entertained. It's just, you'll kind of just wish there's more Knuckles in it, which is what I was wishing. And that's the only thing I think the creator should take away. Put Knuckles into the show more. And obviously I get, like, money. I get that's, like, partly the reason. I think they should have just given more money into the show and put Knuckles in it, like, for more. Because there were 6 episodes, but again, episode 4, Knuckles is basically not in that episode. And it's his own show. And also, the villains were barely in the series as well. I mean, they were in it, but it's just after like the first 3 episodes, we barely don't see them. I don't know if Kid Cudi's an expensive actor, but why are they never in it? I was actually kind of interested in them. I wanted to know how they got the rings, but they never explained it. I also wanted to know who the buyer was, like what his actual name was, but I don't think they ever give his name. But whatever. But yeah, overall, it's a decent watch. I mean, if you're a Sonic fan, yeah, you should watch it. It's worth watching at least once. If you're not a Sonic fan, it's not essential to watch. I don't think it will be to understand movie 3. I mean, movie 3 hasn't come out yet, but I doubt it will be an essential watch. So yeah, that's just my opinions on the show. I don't think it's an essential watch for movie 3, and I don't think movie 3 will heavily reference the show. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.